Of my agenda.
Now they all disappeared.
Okay, sorry. Can we go ahead and skip the pledge today?
Sure.
Okay?
You got to make that announcement, though.
Okay. We're going to skip the Pledge of Allegiance today.
And this meeting is you can designate me. This meeting is being recorded. The recording does not constitute an official record of this meeting.
Thank you. The meeting is called to order. We'll skip the Pledge of Allegiance for today. Any public comment on non-agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on to discussion and action.
I'll make a motion to approve Trustee McLean as a member of the Personnel Committee with myself.
Can I second that motion?
Sure.
Probably not.
You can.
Oh, I can. Okay. I second that motion.
Seth has indicated he probably won't have the time throughout the spring here because, negotiations generally is a time where we have to spend quite a bit of time as the personnel committee. So I asked Danielle if she would like to join this with Kara, and she would. Well, I don't know if she would like, but she said she would.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Danielle. Appreciate it. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Move on to our second item.
I'll make a motion to approve the superintendent, trustees, and relevant school staff to participate as needed in supporting LC 3227.
I second the motion.
So I think Kara, I guess the trustees that are here also attended. Were invited and attended a meeting last week led by Kevin Germain and the Big Sky Resort Area District regarding LC 3227, which would essentially, and I'll leave it to kind of Jackie is online, John Zirkle's in the room. They know the ins and outs of the bill more than me, but the short story is kind of what I put in the annotated agenda about, this special taxing district where the Madison County residents that live in that attend Big Sky schools essentially pay all of their property taxes go to Ennis schools. Currently in law in Montana code, there is an arduous, sophisticated process that requires a lot more collaboration and agreement between the two school districts to essentially, change that school district boundary. LC 3227 would make that a lot easier should it pass through the House and become law. I don't know exactly, and Kara, maybe you can support me on this. Trustees, like anything that's related directly, I would call this bill education adjacent, not necessarily an education bill. You've already given me the ability to testify, to go to the Capitol on any education bill. And I think we can spend up to a particular amount of money before it becomes like lobbying that needs to be reported. So go ahead, Kara.
I think that number is pretty small. I feel like it's $2,500 or $3,500, but we should confirm with MTSBA just in terms of whether that includes salaries for the day, et cetera, just to make sure we don't become lobbyists.
I think most of it is around reimbursement of expenses.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it would be. So, again, with an education bill, that's part of my duties and responsibilities as the superintendent. That's not necessarily lobbying, provided that, it's an education bill. This one in particular, again, I would call education adjacent. I don't think we would reach that threshold, especially on an individual basis, or if it's as a school district basis. Even as a school district basis, I mean, even at 2,500, a little bit of gas, to drive up there. And then I put relevant school staff because I think it's still the strategy is still. I don't know if it's quite clear, is what I would say, at least from the school. We could go and say, we really need these tax dollars because we're educating these students. It's 26 students. That might stick in the craw of some of the legislators and probably be pretty easily combated by Ennis school district folks. So I don't know if it's a better idea, or the strategy could be a little bit of the school piece, but also just a little bit of, hey, I'm a working class taxpayer in this district, and this is what happens to my money, right? It could be a balance of those two things. So that's why I put relevant school staff, which would be, a staff member that pays property taxes in Big Sky School District.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly I think I would appreciate somebody else kind of steering us in that manner, in that context, either Jackie or Kevin Germain or John. And John isn't here as a school district representative. He's more of a resort area representative. So that's really kind of all I have to say about it. And then anybody else who would like to speak, the floor is yours.
I mean, I guess the only thing I would add is, there's certainly, I can't think of any negatives outside of our relationship with our neighborly school board. Any negatives as to why we would not support this?
Well, they were so nice to us the last time we were there.
Yeah, I guess my main concern is, do we have anything that's necessarily holding us back from showing up, testifying as members of school board, whatever that may be, as long as we're clear with that and we don't infringe on anything else.
John, do you want to just kind of brush some highlights?
Yeah, so it's thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the school board. Appreciate the chance to speak with you. This is all going to happen relatively quickly. We anticipate the bill to get introduced in the next 2 or 3 days. There are going to be some stories that are coming out in the papers. We are moving pretty swiftly to try to get ahead of that. We are sure that Madison County media will take a hold of this. And I think what's important, just anecdotally, is that at the Capitol, it's important that we have people show up in person to see that there are people who work and live in Big Sky. I'm not sure that's always really clear to folks. And so from our standpoint, what we're trying to do is mobilize quickly to get people to commit to testifying. BizRad's goal is 40 individuals from Big Sky and both the Gallatin County and Madison County side committing to testimony, in-person testimony in Helena. And we're trying to get over 100 letters. So it's pretty aggressive because we know that this is going to have strong opposition, and it's important for us to be present in Helena. So with that, we expect for this testimony, in-person testimony happening at the Senate level to be happening in the next 14 days, 10 to 14 days. Jackie, is that correct? Pass it to Jackie, who works at BizRad.
Thank you so much for having us this morning, board members. I just wanted to add 2 things to what John just spoke to. We're targeting to introduce it into the Senate tomorrow. And so at that point, then we're subject to the legislative scheduling. And then we'll wait a committee assignment. We're targeting the Senate Local Government Committee or the Senate Taxation Committee. Our bill sponsor is still strategizing that. In the Senate side, we have Greg Hertz that's going to sponsor the bill for us, and Cora Newman that will be the co-sponsor in the Senate. And the other two kind of points that we haven't discussed yet that I wanted to add is Zoom testimony is also very possible. So if that helps with travel costs, that's an option. And then the other point that we've talked about is that this bill helps those parents that are sending their kids to the school district vote on their board trustee too. Right now, I think those parents feel voiceless in terms of their ability to make those decisions. And so the voter voice is also a piece of this.
Jackie, you'll kind of give us some guidance to those of us that may show up to testify as to what we're going to be saying. Because like I would probably not be as eloquent as I could if you guys weren't there to help us.
Yep.
So that's something that's coming our way from your end as well.
Correct. I have directions of how to build a testimony and what to say. The other thing is with the legislature, they ask you that if you're repeating things just to say ditto. And so what we're wanting to do is really strategize every person that's talking to be saying different things. And so once we get that commitment list built out, then we're going to really help to strategize the points that each person is making so we can tell a holistic story and not just have a bunch of like dittos when people stand up.
That sounds great.
And Jackie, I can add to that, just having gone up there, usually bill sponsor goes first, then we'll have kind of the big heavy hitters in the first three, and then it will kind of tail out. Everybody after the first three is really about showing critical mass, and testimony will last up to 2 minutes per person at the beginning, and then it'll probably shrink down to like 15 to 30 seconds per person after that, just to give you a structure.
Any other questions from anyone, or everybody feel pretty well informed? Okay. All right. Well, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimously. So what are our next steps? Just kind of wait to hear back from you guys, John, Jackie, what's moving forward?
Well, I've got a question. Is there any chance that someone from the board, or is there any problem with someone from the board testifying? I think, just to put it bluntly, one of the trustees, preferably the chair, would be an ideal candidate to come and testify along with some staff. We're reaching out to different staff and letting them know. But I think having one person commit from the board would be useful.
Yeah, I think maybe that was Matt's question.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to do that too. So
I think it's be ready to jump in a vehicle in the next 10 to 14 days.
So you guys will keep us posted.
We definitely will. Jackie's going to be the point of contact, and she's got a list going out. Just keep an eye on your inbox.
And anything that comes my way, I'll get directly into your guys' hands.
And the one thing I added into the chat last week on your call is Montana State on the school board level uses something called Fast Democracy. It's really an automated, it'll pre-populate your name, basically an AI letter to representatives for support. It literally takes 20 seconds to push it out, send out a link, and get a really big response. It'll automatically send, 12 to 15 emails out. So I don't know if that's something that we could look at or you could, piggyback on, but it's definitely been very helpful in terms of gathering kind of critical mass quickly.
I guess maybe it might be worth saying really quick, there's going to be a lot of misinformation shooting around because this is a pretty emotional thing. So some things that I've been hearing already is that Big Sky is trying to move the county line. That is incorrect. So make sure all we're talking about is potentially 2 service districts, the hospital district and the school district. And there's already precedent for that, where districts go over county line. Parks and Trail, Fire District, Water and Sewer District goes over the county line. And also this whole thing about like Ennis is going to be devastated by this move. My main point on taxes is to say, remember, local taxes only form a very small percentage from time to time of the actual total budgets. And money's not being taken. It just spreads who's paying for what. So there'll be a lot of extremist rhetoric. That's what we've heard, especially in the hospital district. It's, you know, the property taxes are a much smaller portion of their total budget than even for schools. And so that's just some things to.
Well, and one of the other things that I want to add is I was talking to Commissioner Nye on the Madison County side last week, and he was told by the Ennis School District that a ton of money from Ennis is coming over to Big Sky. So I can't knowledgeably speak to the specifics of the finances of the school district, but I just wanted to let you all know that the commissioners on the Madison County side think that it's a lot of money, whatever.
How much is
the
it,
amount.
Corky?
70,000. We did the math.
Yeah, a max of 70,000 for this fiscal year. Last fiscal year, it was less than 50.
And that, just for everyone's knowledge, that's money that they're taxing the people who live in the Big Sky side
Yeah.
permissively.
Yeah, we send 3 million over there. They send us back 70,000.
But from the same bucket, from the same people.
Oh, that's good point.
Yeah.
Right?
If you're speaking to the Madison County commissioners, it might be helpful to clear that up for them.
Good.
John, make a spreadsheet.
I have too many. I'm trying to get it to simple ones. We've got some good handouts that we're working on.
Yeah. I need help there. So
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking the time today. Is there anything further before you can conclude the meeting, Matt?
not on my end. Anyone else? Okay. Great. Well, meeting adjourned. Thank you everybody for showing up today and hopefully helping us push this forward.
Look for an email from me in about 5 minutes, Matt.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.